And we're back visiting with Jessica Green from the Maryland Theater. So Jessica, let's get into the vision for the theater. We talked a little bit about the history and some of the upcoming shows, but let's talk about the vision for the theater. There are many of us on this panel here at the table and others that we've talked to in the past that use a word that you use, crown jewel of downtown Hagerstown. How are we going to make the jewel even brighter?
Even better. Well, really what we need is space. We need space for rehearsals. We need box office and administration space that is actually connected to the auditorium. We need lobby space to hold everybody when it's inclement weather or cold out. We need larger concession spaces, box office space that's differently arranged so we can accommodate 1,300 people. So I think that's the biggest benefit that I see from our proposed expansion is just the movement and the flow of people. 1,300 people plus however many performers are in the facility is just a large crowd to move in and out of the historic auditorium that has skinny aisles, not too many restrooms, and addition of a concessions area and a box office currently, but bringing all of those elements and amenities into one address is going to be a huge improvement.
And by the way, really no men's restroom on the
That's right.
the main
You have
level.
to go to the basement.
I have to go to the basement.
And there's only 2 women's restrooms on the main level
Right.
for over 600 people
Yeah,
on the
that's a
main
problem,
level.
isn't it?
Yes.
Ron?
Go into a little bit about the auditorium. You spoke about the auditorium. How will the new addition to the theater affect the auditorium?
Well, it literally will allow for an additional 3 main entrances to the auditorium. Right now, we load in 1,300 people through 1 main entrance, and we're going to have 4.
Wow.
So it's a big change. The emergency exit system is all going to change for the better, obviously. So when I say the flow of people, it literally, I mean, right now, if you arrive to a show and it's raining, you wait outside in the rain. So
Been there, done
just that, yes, exactly. So just that alone, and the concessions is a huge factor. Getting 1,300 people through the concession stand in a 20-minute intermission just
How about
doesn't happen.
second floor? Will there be any concessions on second floor?
We're going to have 2 concession stands, 2 full concession stands. So
Now, we just talked about restrooms and that type of thing, safety, handicapped. How will that be addressed?
we are going to offer 2 full elevators, so definitely become more ADA accessible, although the seating won't change, so the balcony will not be wheelchair accessible, but anything's an improvement.
Right.
So we're definitely going into that direction. But as far as spaces, we're going to have a large ballroom up to 300 people on the top floor. The goal of that is to have it be multifunctional. We have a lot of smaller productions that we need seating for 300 or less, so we're going to have a small stage area, almost like a black box, but not quite. That ballroom space can be used for that. We'd like to host trade shows. We're looking to partner with the Visitors Bureau and host a variety of events for our community in downtown. And then, of course, it can be used for private event hosting, weddings, things that we do already. And then on the 3rd floor, that's really what we're starting to call our educational floor, because it will offer a rehearsal studio that's an exact mimic of the stage. So our local arts partners, the school students who it's not necessarily in their budget to utilize the theater for a full week, even though they might need it, can utilize that rehearsal space and get the same practice for their performers.
Neat.
Mm-hmm.
You're obviously part of the arts in downtown Hagerstown.
We are.
Okay, you're a tremendous compliment to it. How do you see, with the renovations to the theater, enhancing that?
Well, right now, the only space we have to offer is the stage. Like I said, when they come in for rehearsals or even just needing dressing rooms and changing facilities, we just don't have enough space. You know, the local dance studio just went to 3 shows because we just didn't have enough seats to sell. So they performed 3 times so they could accommodate all of the family and friends that wanted to see the dancers. Mm-hmm. So the increased space that can be used for a variety of reasons. I mean, we'll have 2 levels of lobbies, the rehearsal studio, more dressing rooms, changing rooms,
More
and then the
bathrooms.
ballroom, and more bathrooms.
I don't know why I'm stuck on the bathrooms thing tonight.
Well, it's important.
It's important. It's
big
a
deal.
necessity.
It's a really
Yeah,
big deal.
it is.
You want to go in a little bit. Jessica's been meeting on Mondays with different representatives from the county, the state, the city of Hagerstown. What do you actually see as the economic impact to Hagerstown when the theater is built out? How will it affect the restaurants in the downtown Hagerstown differently than it does now? What do you think?
Well, we would have the opportunity to be hosting 3 different events simultaneously. I mean, the number of feet that we could then put on the street and just attraction downtown, I think, is going to be a huge effect. We are, like you said, we're meeting every Monday. This is a complete downtown project. We're working with USMH partners, with the senators, Senator Serafini and Delegate Wilson, and of course the school board with their building next door. I mean, it really is a collaborative effort for the improvement of downtown.
How does it fit into the back of the district court building, in the back of many of the buildings that the private sector is working on, in the back of Barbara Ingram, that space back there? What's planned for back there that fits into the walking trail?
Good question, Ron. The plan for the rear of the theater and kind of the rear of the buildings along West Washington Street and where the courthouse is that it would become an outdoor kind of
Plaza.
entertainment plaza, I guess is the word I was looking for. So the situation that we have with Wind Down and where we block off the street can kind of move to the rear of the theater, and that would ultimately end up being the end of the Cultural Arts Trail, which is really an attractive ending and
Yeah.
show them what downtown has to offer.
Wow.
So that's a long-term vision. We have to get through the expansion and the
So
other projects first.
Let's talk money on the expansion. How much do you need? How much has been committed? Who has committed what, if you can tell us that?
13 million is the big number.
Okay. And that's all in?
That's all in. That's design, construction, contingency,
And restrooms.
and,
Okay.
and furniture, fixtures, everything. That's so we can open the doors. The design has been graciously funded already by the county and city, so that's
That was
off
the $1 million,
table.
yeah.
That's $1 million.
Okay.
We have about $1 million in there for fixtures and equipment and whatnot. So that brings us down to 11. We've received a commitment from Governor Hogan for 5.
Wow.
So we're down to 6, and I can tell you that we are 1/8 of the way there so far, and that 1/8 matters. Every little bit helps.
Okay.
I can't share names yet, but we've hired a fundraising firm. We're in the research and development phase, and we'll be making an announcement very soon and announcing a
But
capital
that
campaign.
1/8 is towards the 6, not towards the 13.
That's right. Yeah, the 1/8 is our I mean, we have a
Yes.
$6 million fundraising goal, and we are 1/8 of the way there so far.
That's really
so
good.
So it's
it'll happen. It's just a matter of how long it'll take to get to 6.
Excellent.
So
How do you see the community really getting involved? What can programs like the FlipSide and other entities around the community, how can they actually get involved in raising money? Because this is, the libraries had their chance. They raised money. The museums had their chance of raising money. The hospice houses had their chance. So the time where there's not another major fundraiser going on in the community, how can the community really become involved for adding to the arts and entertainment district?
well, the first thing I would say is that if you're not aware of our programming and our operations already, become aware. Follow us on Facebook, join our email list, read the newspaper, watch the TV programs, because we're offering high quality programming. We're offering those big name touring artists, and we're supporting our local arts groups. So there really is a large variety of programming at the Maryland Theater that you don't have to drive to the city to see. And it's affordable. So learn what the Maryland Theater is doing. I mean, when you give to the Maryland Theater, you're supporting the Barbara Ingram School's productions. You're supporting Hagerstown Community Concert Association, City Ballet School, summer camp programs, the wind downs. I mean, everyone in the community must be touched by one or another of those programming events. I mean, there's just such a huge variety for all ages.
And of course, our symphony,
And the Maryland Symphony Orchestra, you're right.
which we're
So,
very fortunate to have as
you're
well.
right. Thank you.
Excellent.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Jessica, thank you. I hope you'll
you.
come back maybe later this summer and tell us once your official announcements made on the capital campaign and share some information on that.
I will.
And good luck.
Thank you.
Next up on the flip side, our panel takes a look at the Chesapeake Bay. Stay tuned.